Well, thank you, Jotam. That was really, really interesting. It's actually making me a little self-conscious because that's up of my alley normally. And today I'm going to talk about something really different. It's about, the Spanish regularization. You might be familiar with these characters from the Monty Python. You're going to be seeing them more through the presentation. Basically, I want to start the overarching goal of the talk is to discuss the update on the licensing system for the production of medicinal cannabis in Spain, what new developments have been in the country for establishing a medicinal cannabis access program, and why medical evidence is key for the adoption of medicinal cannabis by Spanish prescribers. So let's start with the update for the licensing system for production of medicinal cannabis in Spain. We all know that cannabis is being produced in Spain. This is a picture from the cycle ride in Spain 2 years ago, and as you can see, cannabis is being grown extensively in Spain. These are the seized materials by police in 2020. It goes up to 70 tons of cannabis. That's 1.7 million plants, and this is only the stuff that police found. Let me tell you, there is more in the country for sure. And if you think about how much Germany is importing, there seems to be quite a potential in the country. So yeah, sounds fantastic. Let's go and grow cannabis in Spain. Why not? Then you go try to grow cannabis in Spain, you need to go and talk to the Spanish drug agency called AMPS, or Agencia Española de Medicamentos and Productos Sanitarios. And then it's the first time you think, well, I wasn't expecting the Spanish Inquisition, and there you go. You find them right off the bat. You find that there is a limited access to this kind of licenses. Now it's getting a little better. There's actually 14 companies authorized to grow cannabis for R&D purposes. As you might imagine, there's not a lot of return on that, but the list is growing, and here you have anything from breeders that are making new varieties to people working on formulations and some extraction methods and whatnot to gear up for the industry. We also have 8 companies authorized to grow for commercial purposes. Two of them are already exporting to other markets such as Germany or the UK, while others are either validating their processes or just getting their shit together and starting to work out. So as a novelty, and this is an update from May 25th, so basically a couple of weeks ago, the AMPS had finally, they probably are fed up with incomplete applications, and they have set up a very comprehensive checklist for everybody that wants to grow cannabis for medicinal reasons in Spain, for you to go through and then, fill all items in terms of packaging, extraction, analysis, what is that you're gonna grow, what is your starting material, very specific information about the products that you're gonna obtain, how are you gonna treat your waste material. So, for people that they're not familiar with the process, this comes actually handy, and it's gonna reduce probably the back and forth of dealing with the agency. Still, as I mentioned, there is 8 licenses right now, and it seems like there's going to be enough production for sure to cover a potential national scheme. So, what's new on the developments for establishing a medicinal cannabis access program in Spain? What do you mean there is not medicinal cannabis in Spain? There is no medicinal cannabis in Spain. This is not a patient. Growing cannabis and consuming cannabis, it's illegal in Spain, especially for medicinal purposes. There is literally no access. But what do you mean? How is it possible? Well, that's the reality of it. And the truth is that finally we have our politicians discussing possible ways of establishing and scheme access that could benefit more than 200,000 patients. So the population in Spain is around 47 million. Out of those, 2.75 million people smoked or consumed cannabis last month. And out of those 2.75, 2.5 are recreational users, and a 250,000 are medicinal users. So, and the plot has thickened in the last, I will say, year. And I just wanted to introduce what has been the ballet and dance, the political dance that we're seeing in Spain right now. So basically, in June 2021, a subcommission to the National Health Ministry was created to evaluate cannabis access programs from other European countries, right? This was following the petition by the Basque Nationalist Party, which is in the north of Spain, the region I live in. So what happened next was in September. So, I mean, just to give you an idea how, the political scheme, it's in Spain right now. You have here, reefer madness and prohibition, in which you have the Spanish Inquisition, Vox, PP, PP, and then you have the Socialist Party, which is right now in power. This is the Basque nationalists that were made the application for the creation of the subcommission. And then you have all the pro-legalization for even recreational purposes parties in Spain. So what happened next is that in September 2021, the Socialist Party celebrates the 40th National Congress and plans to regulate medicinal use. Now, I mean, most civil rights advancement in Spain has been, made under this kind of government. Like Spain in 2005 was the fourth country, only hours later after Canada, to legalize same-sex marriage, and it was the first country in the world that allowed for homosexual couples to adopt children. So when now we see this very same party announcing that they are going to go through within this year, also because within this legislation or this round, this legislative round, is because they have the votes to do so. So what comes next is that 1 month after, there are 3 legislative proposals to decriminalize adult use or recreational use. And you know what happened? It happened that both the Socialist Party voted against legalization together with Partido Popular and Vox, forming again the Spanish Inquisition for the recreational use, and the Basque country, the Basque Party abstained for voting in favor or against. So already you see how, we already in front of the public opinion, everybody has been positioned regarding recreational legalization. So we know that's not going to happen for sure. And this was a necessity to separate the recreational aspect of it from the medical aspect of it because of the idiosyncrasy of Spain. I mean, it's almost impossible to separate the recreational, the image of the recreational consumer from what patients look like, because we haven't had really a grassroots movement by patients, because it's so permitted and it's so available that there hasn't been a court case like in many other countries, right? So, and we are going to be the 12th to legalize. I mean, we are really at the last standing in Europe in terms of medical access. So what happens next is that in February, the list of witnesses for the subcommission is published, and the works of the subcommission starts with a marked political profile. This is 3 months ago. And here I just, want to mention Manuel Guzmán and Carola Pérez. They're 2 dear friends, and they have been pushing for, this effort for a really long time, and they have to actually endure severe attacks during the commission by especially the parties that are against or like very upset because they're seeing that there's no way this is not going to go through. So what happens next is that 2 weeks ago, literally, that's why this is so exciting. This is real time. This is history in the making right now. So 2 weeks ago, the Socialist Party makes its first proposal. So mind you that anything to the right, they're not contributing to the debate. They don't want it. Cannabis is a drug. It has no medical value. This is such a phenomenal waste of time. We don't want to speak about it. So they are not making any proposal. So the most restrictive proposal comes from the Socialist Party. And we've seen that they want extracts only, no flower, specialists only, no general practitioners, hospital pharmacy, no community pharmacy, public healthcare system only, not private healthcare, and restricted indications. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, how do you explain this? Well, let's hope that they're playing the Spanish Inquisition again, and this is how bad it could get, because this is an access scheme for 500 patients. So what is the contra proposal of the Basque Independentist Party? It's flowers and extracts, general practitioners, so we will be even ahead of the UK where only a specialist can prescribe, community pharmacies for sure, not just hospital pharmacies. Public and private clinics can do. I mean, we're seeing that, I mean, maybe, well, in Germany, there's a complicated example, but in the UK, we're seeing private clinics flowing up, the same as we do in the US or Canada, that grant access until the public health care can catch up and you generate enough evidence to convince all the stakeholders. And then flexible indications. I mean, we understand that the most robust evidence is for pain, is for multiple sclerosis, is for resistant refractory pediatric epilepsies, but still there is a lot of real-world evidence suggesting that other indications are much favored by chronic administration of medicinal cannabis. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's going to come to this balance to see how, really cannabis is going to be prescribed and used, and the information that we're going to be able to pass along to clinicians. But it seems like, it's impossible that in the next, I will say, 15 months, we're not going to see some form of regulation in Spain. We'll see what it looks like. It's interesting to know that Spain might be the first example of a country that regulates within the United Nations Narcotic Act that already has national production. Everybody else had to figure out how to import a narcotic into their country. We already have national production. So, I mean, there's the possibility of possibility of a monopoly right there. I mean, we've seen that example in the past as well. And then finally, I mean, at the end of the day, Khiron is we're focused on patients, we're focused on doctors. My job there is to raise medical evidence about the use of cannabinoids. And why this is going to be key for the adoption, we might see that it might only end up in the hands of the public health system, which then it's going to be, again, between the debate of people proposing the legalization and people just against any medical use of it. So at the least we have, again, this is June 2nd, so not even 8 days old. We already have the Spanish Society for the Pain, is the chapter of the International Association for the Study of Pain, claiming that medical cannabis should be regarded as an individual therapeutical trial, understanding that there are no randomized clinical trials coming up, that we need to work with what we have. And what we have normally is, the best we have so far, it's retrospective studies. There's very few prospective studies, but they're proposing that we assume the grade system, the grading of recommendations, assessment, development, and evaluation, which allows for large cohort, well-designed and properly executed observational studies. Meaning that with the drugs that you already have in the market, you can gather data that can be included in medicinal policies, in medical guidelines for professionals to use that information in order to prescribe products. This is what we're trying to do. We recently published, this is from March of this year, a cohort study with over 2,000 patients in Colombia, in our clinic in Colombia, receiving two formulations. One is a balanced 12-14, the other is a 13 milligrams per ml CBD. For this is in particular for chronic pain, but we're seeing other cohorts with anxiety, sleep disorders, depression, especially. Our average patient is a 59-year-old female. Our average patient in the UK, it's a 39-year-old male. So we are actually presenting this poster at the British Pain Society event as we speak, like yesterday, today, and tomorrow. This is the poster that we're going to present. This is data coming from Project 2021 that we are original founders of. And we have restricted the data to those patients using Khiron 21. It's a high THC flower, pharma grade that we import into the UK. And it right now is the most prescribed cannabis-based medicinal product in the program. We have over 700 patients taking this product, but only 385 of them use them at the first appointment. We're seeing that the maximum effect is normally achieved after 3 months. So we can only consider naive patients or patients that start the treatment with this product. And after 3 months, we're seeing improvements already in either general conditions such as health-related quality of life, mood, sleep, in patients of chronic pain and anxiety and PTSD. And then we have selective indications for, or selective prompts, patient-reported outcome measures for pain patients, anxiety, and PTSD. So we see that both in general conditions like patient-reported health-related quality of life improves with the treatment over 3 months. The anxiety and the general mood improves. I mean, this is, the score of the scale is lower, meaning that, the overall health is improving. Also for specific pain markers in anxiety, we see the maximal effect. So anxieties, patients are really responding very well to the treatment with medicinal cannabis. Also, remarkable 96%, so 134 out of 140 patients already consume cannabis before. This is the kind of patient we see in the UK. So that's the reason why we have, almost not side effects. Only like 95%, 96% of patients do not relate any side effects because they are experienced patients. They know what's going on and what's going to happen and how to handle their own, bad trips or adverse events. So, and then interestingly, we see that after 3 months, the full effect is achieved. So even if they have been medicating with cannabis before, we still see an improvement. So patients that have been self-medicating still favor from accessing a medical scheme where they have a healthcare professional taking care of their situation and accessing pharma-grade material instead of whatever is available at the time in the street. So especially anxieties benefit greatly from that. So we're going to keep, and this is going to be our approach. We're going to try to keep generating clinical data that can be, attached to the products that we're developing. And we believe this is a way in which we're going to comfort doctors and prescribers to pick our products, instead of anything else that is available in the market. So, well, this was the presentation. I think that on June 23rd, we're going to have the final proposal to the Congress. On June 30th should be the first vote. So it can be a very interesting summer for the medical cannabis access in Spain. Hopefully, in the fall, we will have a final vote and we can probably start, working with patients in Spain. Thank you very much. This was my presentation. I don't know if there's any specific question.
Thanks for a great display. I just have a question. Thanks. Is it working? Yeah. How likely do you see a pilot program being the first step into the market, or would you rather see, second part of it, that a free market is the way to go for Spain now that they've waited so long? So, we have looked at examples from all through Europe, like some of the participants of the subcommission, such as the representative from Germany didn't, really come and testify. But I don't think, we might very well see a pilot project, like France is doing. I don't think that's very successful. And again, at the same time, we are already exporting product into other jurisdictions. So our agency already knows, what's going on. So, I think it's a political move at this point, and I wouldn't be surprised that there's some form of study being performed, but it could be, closer to what happens in Germany, in which, you have an ongoing registry, right? We don't really foresee, something like Project T21, with like either nonprofit or companies taking the lead on it. In general, it would probably be a centralized effort in Spain, hopefully. So, we don't know. We'll see. But I think that going directly, establishing
I mean, what they're proposing is to establish a registry by each region, because healthcare is decentralized in Spain. So every individual region has the autonomy for healthcare. So it might vary from region to region, but there will be a central registry. I mean, that will be the most logical thing to do.
Thanks.
Yes.
I know that one of them is Guillermo from Spain. Which
Yeah.
is the other one?
The other one is Medalchemy,
Oh, okay.
because it was acquired by EMAC, and now it's part of Curaleaf. So I don't know if they're exclusive to Curaleaf or, well, I do know, but,
Yeah.
I don't think they know.
I understand. And what do you think will happen with the social clubs there in Spain? Because nowadays it's quite normal.
That's a very interesting point. So the social clubs are illegal, technically, especially after 2016 with the Supreme Court making a very unfavorable ruling. I don't think they're going to disappear. That's one of the reasons why we needed to clean the debate, because even self-cultivation in Spain is a huge thing that most patients do not want to, lose. I don't think that the social liberties are going to be touched by this. So, I guess that you can still grow your 6 plants but you cannot commercialize those. So, we've seen a lot of more pressure both on the seed banks lately with huge seeds. Police operations on seed banks that are huge in Spain, especially the case for Dinafem, and then also with social clubs. Still they're huge in places like Barcelona, but this is mainly for touristy reasons, and they're in a little bit more of decline everywhere else. That's a little bit of the impression. And then honestly, some patients will keep growing, and I think some patient association will keep working in that model. But obviously, we're not going to eradicate, on like black market. That has never happened, nor in Canada, nor in California, nor anywhere. And there's such a big, illegal cultivation in Spain that's going to be, some other issue. But at the end of the day, what really matters is that people will not require to, resort to that source. You will have an alternative.
Because nowadays many people are going to the social clubs in order to get advice, to get advice of the.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you mentioned the two proposals from the socialists and then the Basque. Yeah. What do you think? How is that going to play out politically? Do you think there's going to be some sort of compromise, or
there has to be? It's so surprising. I'm an optimist, so I might be just wrong. But the thing is that it's hard to explain why the socialists have taken the more radical approach, so to speak, and it has to be because it's the first time that we have so many political parties in Spain. We don't know how to handle that. It's the first time we have an extreme right party that is really on the rise, that is pushing other right-wing parties to, so let's say that the political center in Spain, it's moving, and I think this is like the pantomime that we have seen in a way. Excuse me the expression, but it goes in that direction, in the direction of cleaning up recreational, cleaning up negationists, prohibitionists, and then within this space, I think we will have probably a middle way solution. We might have, we certainly will have flowers. That will be a very big surprise, but at the same time, I can see how everybody will buy a jar of medicinal cannabis and then put their own cannabis inside. This is something that is going to happen in Spain. So that's a debate that cannot deviate the attention from granting access for patients that do need it. So there will have to be some sort of middle way compromise, I think. It's impossible that the proposal of the socialists go as it is. The one from the Basque is like pushing on every single item they can push. So I will say that even a 50-50 solution, will be ideal. I think the strongest point will be community pharmacy, because hospital pharmacy will be a disaster. It's already going to be a red tape nightmare, the fact that healthcare is decentralized. So every single agency in every single region is going to have to, compile information. That's going to be a little bit of a nightmare. But I would say flower, and then prescription. I mean, if general practitioners can prescribe, that will be much, much more beneficial for the access. But I can see that not happening. That could be one of the points in which we have to deal to specialists only.
And sorry, one more. Do you think that it will affect CBD and hemp? Because I mean, Spain is still very restrictive.
Well, I mean, I think that in that sense, the UN treaty will continue to apply, and they have been very strict to it. People need to understand that flower is a controlled substance, no matter the amount of THC. And the industrial use for hemp is fiber and seed. And unless anything changes that, this is not going to affect that regulation. Thank you.